Hey everybody, what's going on? Welcome to Game On and Beyond, episode 8, right?
8 o'clock.
8?
Yes,
8
episode
o'clock. 8, whatever. Episode 8. It's pretty great. That's what I was looking for. Some kind of rhyming word to utilize with it. So anyway, we're here this week. We have some great gaming news for you. A couple focused topics that we're going to chat about, which we're pretty excited about. But first off, how are you doing today?
I'm good, man. I'm good. This week was the first week I have ever donated plasma.
Wow.
And
Zach's life is sad and depressed. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Sorry.
it is donating plasma is the most boring, satisfying thing I've ever done in my life.
Okay.
I sat there with a needle in my arm,
Okay.
and they sucked blood out of me, and then they put blood back in.
Okay.
And
Did they give you a cookie or any kind of juice?
no, but they gave me $75.
Okay.
So that was pretty cool.
Excellent. Hey,
Money's
good.
They also gave me like a part, the noodle things that you use as a like at a pool or something.
Yeah. That looks weird, the gesture you're doing right now. You're like,
Yeah.
the noodle thing.
The noodle thing? Well, that noodle thing
Okay.
they gave me as a stressor. So
Okay.
I could pump my vein so that Yes, it sounds bad.
Get the noodle thing and then I pump my vein.
Then I'll pump my vein and then they squirt the
So you
Stuff out.
pump the vein to release the stress.
Yes. Well, to pump it pumped the vein so that they could like stick it in and then they could freaking and then they could draw the blood from me.
This is so good.
So yeah, and it was cool because I just sat there and I watched an episode of Solo Leveling,
Excellent.
which is really cool.
Great anime. Solo
Um,
Leveling. Check it out. 2 seasons, Crunchyroll. Top tier. Vote for it in the Anime Awards. Best anime of the year, 2025.
Is it really?
There's voting going on right now, so I don't know, but I think it is.
Oh, okay. Cool. Yeah, so yeah, that was pretty much my experience. It was pretty cool in and out. It took me about 2 hours because you have to go through like a physical and stuff.
Okay.
The first time around. So
They were like, turn your head and cough. Okay,
Yes.
yes, you have 2 balls. You could donate plasma.
yes, and they pampered my balls. Pretty bad. Pretty badly too. It was like blah 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 instead of like a
Interesting. Okay.
it was
Hey.
pretty cool.
So
So just kidding. They did not touch my ball sack. But if they did,
that would be. I'd hope they give you more money for that.
yes, I would expect at least $100.
Where are you at in Solo Leveling?
Where am I at?
What happened in the last episode?
The last episode that I watched was I think it was episode 3.
Okay.
So he woke up in the bed
Okay.
and he found out that he had
The system.
the system,
Okay.
and then that was basically it.
Okay. So he's got to do his daily quests,
Yes.
where he has to like do the One Punch Man workout, where it's like
Yes.
100 push-ups, like 100 sit-ups, 10-kilometer run.
Yep. Yeah. So it's cool. It's real fun. Once again, it's kind of rejuvenating my love for anime a little bit because it's not like super perverted, which is nice.
Very nice.
So other than that, man, it's good.
I love it. No, Solo Leveling's awesome. I've been still just kind of grinding away at Destiny 2.
Nice.
There was, you know what? I'm gonna throw that into the news.
Cool.
About the announcement today from Bungie. I've been playing Destiny 2. I'm playing Helldivers still, just kind of grinding away. I kind of want to get another game, but I'm kind of just holding off right now until Elden Ring Night Rain.
Cool.
There is a sale on Warhammer 40K, and they announced like a new update to the game today. I don't know if it comes
Space
out.
Marine 2.
Yes.
Ooh,
I forgot what it's called. It's called the Trigon update, the Trigon, and apparently that's some creature. It's some new mission that you do to go destroy it with your compadres,
Okay.
your brother.
Cool.
So I've been kind of itching to get a new game. I think I'm gonna hold off. I kind of want to get Baldur's Gate, especially after the news today, but we'll see. Anime wise, I'm still watching Gundam Seed.
Nice.
It's awesome.
How's that?
It's really good. It's very dramatic, but I enjoy it greatly. So
Good.
I'm gonna continue to watch it.
Good shit. Also, we've been talking about Pokemon like for the past like 3 shows, right?
Yeah.
About certain things. So
Yeah,
I did
ZA sucks. Continue.
still.
I just have to continue to say that every episode.
So I did a little experiment. I said, you know what? I'm going to play 2 Pokemon games, 2 3D Pokemon games, and I want to compare them.
Excellent.
Okay. So this is going to be really short and whatnot, and this might be a little controversial. but I'm going to tell you something. I played the first Pokemon Stadium for
Okay.
the Nintendo 64,
Excellent.
and then I played Pokemon Scarlet for the Switch.
Okay.
So that's like the newest one for
Yeah.
the Switch itself. I can't believe I'm saying this to you, Nick, but I'm going to tell you this straight to your face.
Yeah.
I think that Pokemon Stadium is a more well thought out game than Pokemon Scarlet is. The presentation in Pokemon Stadium that came out in 1999,
I was to say, like, yeah, 1999.
at least,
Yeah.
has better animations than any of the Pokemon that are in Scarlet.
That game is fun.
Yes, very. And the backgrounds look cooler.
Yeah.
Everything just looks so much better.
I don't remember. Was there like a story mode to that game? Don't you just fight trainers and move through like a map?
Yeah, so there's what you do is that there is a you can battle the gym leaders.
Okay.
So after you beat the gym leaders, then you finish off and fight Red, essentially.
Okay.
So it was like the ultimate gym leader,
I
essentially.
love that.
And then there's like Poke Cups that you can do. So there's like a stadium that has like 4 different cups, and they have different
Okay.
what's it called, difficulties and stuff like that.
Okay. Cool.
So yeah, it's I beat through all of the gym leaders.
Okay.
I didn't beat Red because after a while I was just like, whatever. I mean, I just doing
So,
this as like
so he beat you?
yeah, he did.
You're like, I didn't beat Red. It's whatever.
The only people that beat me was
not to.
the only people that beat me was Giovanni once,
Okay.
and then Red like 4 times.
So is there? What difficulty are you playing on the hardest?
There's no I don't think there's a difficulty setting.
Oh, so it's just kind of difficult at some points.
Yeah.
Nice.
And 2, you can't, because it's on the NSO, the Nintendo Switch Online stuff.
Yeah.
That they don't have a thing where you can like put in your Game
Your
Boy.
own Pokemon.
Yes.
Ah, I remember that. Okay.
So you can't do that. And
So
yeah.
do you just like pick Pokemon out of like a list?
Yeah, you rent them essentially.
Ah.
And then you have like the first 100 and I think it's 149 because
Okay.
or no, maybe 150. I'm not exact. Is Dragonite is he the 150? I can't remember.
Dragonite's Gen 1. I don't know if it's 150 though.
I can't cuz the last Pokemon you can get without like beating the Poke Cups and then fighting Mewtwo and then getting him. Yeah, I think so he might be like 100 and cuz there's 151 Pokemon. So I think Dragonite might be 150. I'm not sure. Maybe 149.
Is there still a capture mechanic?
No.
Okay, so you just beat his ass and then he's yours.
Yes, pretty much.
Cool.
So, yeah, man, once again, like, it just shows to me how older games are somewhat just a little bit more superior than even like some of the like newer games that are out.
They're just more, in some cases, yes. And sometimes people just have like the nostalgia goggles, but obviously you played the 2 games. So I definitely agree. I mean, there's some games that were just like better made. You know, maybe more heart was put into them in some cases. We'll talk a little bit about that with Marathon when we
Yeah.
get there.
Yeah.
But I totally agree. There's some games that just really withstand the test of time. And it's so frustrating that Game Freak or Pokemon Company, whoever makes these games nowadays, just are making the products that they're making. Especially when we have a console like a Switch 2 coming out. They should be having like Breath of the Wild level Pokemon games coming out.
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
sometimes if you care enough about something, you'll do a good job making it. And sometimes you just do it for a buck.
Yeah, I was gonna say mostly you're gonna rush it for a buck.
100%. Rush it for a buck. I don't give a. Let's go ahead and move on to the news. All right. So we got.
I love that. That
That's the
was
best I
awesome.
got. That's the best I got.
That was really good.
All right. So couple quick things. I'm throwing it in here. Today, Baldur's Gate 3, the final patch,
Gasp.
came out today. Patch 8 from Larian Studios. It's their farewell to the game, if you will. They had a really kind of a teary-eyed farewell message alongside a cute little animated short featuring the main cast of NPC characters in the game.
Oh, neat.
Looks really cool. There is so much to this. I don't want to go over the whole thing. I wanted to keep it pretty high level, but they're adding a lot of new classes, a lot of new graphical improvements, new mods, just a ton of stuff to the game so that you can do a whole nother playthrough, even though people have done many, many playthroughs of this game, just have a completely different experience and a little bit more of a fun experience because some of the new classes are really cool. So they updated quite a bit. I'm pretty excited. It's free, obviously, if you own the game, which has been like a staple Good Guy Larian mark on them, is all the stuff they've done for this game, all the patches, all the little minor updates, free of charge, and they had no in-app purchases.
Ooh,
so
nice.
Larian leaves Hasbro or Wizards of the Coast at this point and partnering with them to kind of go back to doing their own thing. I think they have a couple of their own projects coming up in the next few years. But it's going to be kind of a bummer. I think they did a great job with Baldur's Gate 3, but it's good that they finally got this last patch out. And it's going to be, I think, a fun experience with some of these new classes and improvements to the game. So
awesome, dude, because I've been wanting to play that game, but I've been wanting to make sure that they got everything out. Of like everything out of it first before I can like dive deep in. I've heard that it is definitely one of the best full price games that you can buy today.
I agree. I think it was on sale, at least on Steam. There's always some kind of sale. I know on the PlayStation Store, I believe there's like a spring sale still going on. So I think it's like 10% off. I might have made that up, but I think it's like maybe 15%.
Right. Yeah. The lowest I've ever seen it was it was like $70 when it first came out. I think the lowest I've ever seen it was $15 off.
Yeah. The Baldur's Gate 3 is a great example of what we just talked about, like a labor of love. You know, they put that game out years and years ago for free in early access, gave people a taste of it, continuously built the game, used community feedback to drive it, make it better, consulted with the lore masters to keep the lore accurate. Great voice acting, great graphics, beautiful looking characters, beautiful areas, fun, deep RPG elements, fun combat system. They put their heart and soul into it, and that game sold like hotcakes. And now Larian kind of exists as that like shining beacon for people who make these, what do they call them? Like ARPGs?
ARPGs, I think.
So I'm excited to kind of see what they do next. And hopefully the next studio that gets handed the Baldur's Gate franchise can do it justice like Larian did.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout outs to Larian, too. They do a really good job with their games. What did they did Divinity.
I think they did something else, isn't it?
Divinity. I want to say Origin Sin. No, it's not that. That sounds.
That
stupid.
sounds. Hold on.
Original Sin.
Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2. Yes,
1,
correct.
2. Cool.
Correct.
Okay.
I own, I think, Divinity Original Sin 2. I still haven't played it, but that's because when I bought it, I ended up playing Baldur's Gate 3, and because I just love D&D. So super cool.
Sure.
I have a little more news. Do you have any news stuff you need to go through, or were you gonna chill till marathon?
No, man. Go ahead and chill.
Okay. I'm gonna get the news train rolling still. One of my games, I'm off the wagon. I'm fully addicted to crack. Just kidding. Destiny 2. I'm back off the wagon, fully addicted once more. Bungie today announced a reveal event for some new content to Destiny 2. They revealed what's called Destiny 2, The Edge of Fate. So we are invited to join Bungie on May 6th at 9 a.m. PDT, 12 p.m. EDT for all you people here in the Midwest. I was going to say Middle East, but I'm not in the Middle East.
No.
They're doing a streaming event to reveal the content for The Edge of Fate and for the next year of Destiny 2. So I'm very excited. This is their first expansion, I believe, to the game post Final Shape. So I was not expecting this. I'm very excited. There's some imagery in here that evokes this group, this faction called the Nine, which has been very mysterious since like Destiny 1. So I think they're going to flesh them out a little bit, potentially have them maybe playing the antagonist to the Guardians. But I believe the day that this comes out, there's actually a new event coming out, like a lead-in to this new expansion called the wow, I should have tried it. No. Sorry, I should know this. Dead Air. It's an update. What is it called? The Nine Return. Wow, I'm an idiot. I'm the worst. The Rite of the Nine. There it is.
The Rite of the Nine.
So it's some kind of new free activity that's kind of a lead into the content. So it's going to drop the day of this reveal.
Okay.
And then the reveal is going to obviously have the announcement date and then some of the future content that they're going to launch for Destiny 2. So I am excited. This just dropped today. And I think it dropped today, and I just sent it to you earlier, right?
Yeah.
So I'm super excited about that. I'm a Destiny 2 apologist. I know people are like, F Destiny, it's a dead game. whatever. It's still pretty fun. It's cool seeing Bungie still release content for it, especially considering the marathon stuff we're going to talk about later.
Yeah.
Final piece of news before
we get into that, though,
Yes.
real quick, is it a free expansion or is it going to be?
So,
If you know.
I don't know. I can only assume that a content drop of this size that they're kind of pitching it will probably be something paid,
Okay.
especially considering the seasonal pass that you had to do for like Heresy in the last 3 acts post Final Shape. I think that was like a annual pass you paid for. And that seemed like less content than what you're going to get in this expansion.
Because I wasn't sure if it was just like a title update type where
So this is expansion. So I'm expecting, like, remember in Destiny 1 when they would do the oh my goodness, the Crota, there was the wow, dude, I'm the worst Destiny fan right now. I can't believe I don't remember these. But there was the little expansions they did to the game. Wow, the one that featured Crota and the one that featured like the House of Wolves, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be like that. So
Okay.
I'm thinking, I believe they were talking about releasing like a raid, like a raid in the first big expansion, and then a dungeon in the second big expansion. So they're gonna have a cadence of raid, dungeon, raid, dungeon.
Cool.
So they're releasing some pretty big content along with story, quests and things of that nature. So I'm pretty excited.
Cool.
We'll see what they release. Hopefully it's cool. Hopefully it can be quality, and hopefully it's not just like them reselling the stuff that they've taken out of Destiny 2 right back to us, because that's a lot of kind of what they have been doing. Granted, they put stuff into their content vault and then they bring it out and they're like, hey, look, it's the Dreadnought again. I'm gonna pay $15 for the annual pass to go play the levels you played in Destiny 1. So it's like, dude, come on. So
Right.
Bungie is notorious for doing that, which is again something we'll talk about a little later when we discuss Marathon. But as someone who is off the wagon, I'm fully interested and excited, just a little trepidatious. So hopefully it's good.
Good.
All right. Final piece of news before Marathon. There's been some leaks
Big leaks.
leaking all over the place. So there was essentially images found on Virtuous, which is the, is it Virtuous? Virtuos? Which
Yeah,
is the
something like
company that's apparently behind the Elder Scrolls 3 or the Elder Scrolls Oblivion remaster. There were some images found on that website apparently and leaked that showed a what looked to be like title art, and in-game screenshots showing comparison between the 2006 version of certain areas and the 2025 version of certain areas, with the title of Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion Remastered.
Pumped. Excited.
So again, if this is real, which I don't know if there's been like a confirmation since then,
No, I
this
don't think
seems
there is.
real. The rumors of this thing coming out like any day now feel totally viable at this point.
Yeah, there's a rumor that it's gonna shadow drop next week.
Okay. See, and if that's the case, that's the game I'll buy.
Yeah,
Because
most
I
definitely.
think we talked about this last week. I've never played Oblivion. I've never played Skyrim. Ooh, they start throwing tomatoes at me. Oh, lettuce. I just want a new game to sink my teeth into, and like a huge open world RPG like this seems super fun. And especially in Unreal 5, these screenshots look incredible.
Yes, they do.
And I'm just big excited for this. Apparently it's not just a graphical retooling. I mean, they're retooling some of the game, like the game systems itself. So like they're talking combat menus, the actual just gameplay itself and how you interact with the AI. What else have you heard about it?
Well, I heard that the HUD is going to be a little bit different too, which
Love
is
it.
nice. And then from what I can tell from some of the screenshots, because there was other like leaked screenshots that weren't even in the thing that I showed you.
Okay.
It seemed like they kind of did what they did with Skyrim, whereas in the original Oblivion, it would like zoom into like the NPC that you were talking to.
Okay.
Whereas in Skyrim, basically, it's just like it doesn't do that zoom in thing where it
they're just kind of sitting there talking to you.
exactly.
Okay.
So I think that's what they did. Also, is I'm pretty sure they just like Skyrim find it,
Okay.
find it essentially.
Okay. I like
and
that.
So yeah, and not only that, man, but this doesn't look like just like original like remaster where they take the game itself and just like kind of leave it the way it was, but kind of upscale it.
Yeah.
They actually like it looks like they kind of built it from the ground
Almost
up.
like a rebuild in Unreal, right?
Exactly.
I mean, the differences look substantial.
Yeah.
in the leaked screenshots. So
Yeah.
I completely agree. It definitely looks like something that they like, almost like to a degree, maybe not a complete remake, but like almost like a Final Fantasy VII situation where they're like remaking the backgrounds and the graphics and retooling everything. So I'm excited. I think it'll be a fun opportunity to come around and have something to tide us over, and probably stop asking Todd Howard about, Elder Scrolls 6. He's probably like, hey, throw them this. Okay, they'll be good for a couple, 10 more years while we develop it. So,
but you know what they're going to be asking and then ranting and raving for next?
What? Skyrim?
Nope. Fallout 3 remake.
Interesting.
So I think this is my prediction. Prediction Zach over here. Okay.
Prediction Zach.
It's going to be Oblivion.
Okay.
Then we're going to get probably a Elder Scrolls 6.
Okay.
And then we're going to get like a Fallout remaster.
Well, you think we're going to get Fallout? You think we're going to get Elder Scrolls 6 before the Fallout 3 remaster?
I do.
Interesting.
I do.
Okay.
I think if it took this long to get Oblivion out,
okay,
it's the Fallout.
What if next week they're just like, hey, we got Oblivion remaster, and then Fallout 3 right now also?
I would
double drop.
I would literally crap my pants.
Double
That'd be so good and so awesome. In my wildest dreams.
Yeah, never gonna happen. However, I'm hoping for that Oblivion remaster any day.
Yes.
So
for sure.
It's weird, right? Like, you've in this case, if this was just like on their website, that seems dumb. Like, why did that happen just now? Like, maybe it's like a secret hype builder. Oh, let's leak it. Oops.
Right.
Oops. My secretary left my design for the image art on my website. Oh, dummy me. Sorry.
Dude, you just reminded me of something. When Shadow of the Tomb Raider got leaked, it was because somebody at the company that made it, was it Crystal Dynamics or something?
Yeah.
They were on a plane and they were writing a presentation to pitch the game or something like that.
Yeah.
And someone like took a picture of their laptop on the plane and like leaked it online.
That's
hilarious. That's so great.
It's like, oops. Yeah. So it is kind of weird timing, right? It's almost like, hey, look, it's real. Get hype. Okay, next week, boom, it's here.
Yeah. And I think it's Oblivion's like an anniversary for Oblivion.
Ooh.
So it would make sense that they would be like, oh, hey.
What anniversary would that be, you think? Is that?
I think it's shoot. I think Oblivion.
Dude, that's got to
2005.
I was gonna say that's got to be like a 20-year anniversary.
I think so.
Let's take a look. Keep talking.
I hope so, man, because once again, Oblivion was like one of the first PC games that I bought with my own money.
Okay, 19th. This is from March 21st. This is Oblivion first launched on March 20th, 2006. So this would be its 19th. This would be its 19th anniversary, essentially.
Okay.
So it's almost that 20th.
Yeah. I'm kind of surprised that they didn't release it next year.
Yeah.
But also it's kind of good.
They're like, all right, thanks, Zach.
Yeah. Sorry, guys, my bad.
We're doing it. Zach single-handedly just got Elder Scroll for Oblivion remake pushed back 1 year.
It's okay. GTA 6 is coming out. It's probably the smartest.
Yeah, that's gonna be wild. That's gonna change the gaming landscape. That comes out the end of this year, correct?
Supposedly.
GTA 6, the rumor.
That's what it's saying. So,
ooh-wee, that's gonna be an interesting time. So, got something else that's interesting.
What's really interesting, Nick?
We've talked about a few things. I talked about Destiny 2 earlier. We've been talking about Bungie.
Mm-hmm.
We talked about it last week, actually, too. Kind of alluded to the gameplay reveal that Bungie was putting on this last Saturday.
Yeah.
For Marathon. So we got a lot of information. We got release date. I don't think we actually have pricing details, but they did pretty much confirm that it's not going to be free to play.
Yes.
The rumor is $40. Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, they said there wasn't supposed to be a full price game.
Yes.
So it's
going to be a full price in-game loot shop, though. Anyway, so we got information about the game. We got information about what it is. We got information about what it isn't. We got information about runners. Lots of information. Let's dive in. So anyway, so we have a release date, first of all. We have a launch date of September 23, 2025, Yay. Which is kind of interesting because I did not expect this to come out this year. Fully transparency.
Me neither.
So, pre-orders, they're going to be pre-order bonuses that were leaked. There was some data mine stuff. I don't believe anything's been announced yet, but pre-orders will be coming out soon. We have it. It's going to be PC, PS5, and the Xbox series of consoles. So it's going to be across the board, even though it is a Sony-owned franchise in Bungie. Not free to play. We're expecting $40, and there will be an alpha closed alpha beginning sometime this month to allow for some community feedback.
Cool.
We'll talk about that more in just a little bit. Now, the game itself, Bungie was pretty specific in talking about this game being an extraction shooter. So, for those of you not familiar, an extraction shooter is essentially a game where you drop into a map, you loot a bunch of stuff, and then you try to get out before you get killed. Mm-hmm. In this case, there's going to be AI combatants. There's going to be human combatants, teams of 3. So you drop in, you loot various points of interest, you find various enemies and take gear off them. You have enhancements you can enhance your character with itself to provide just more advantages in battle. And then you may come across a team of 3 live people. And if you destroy them, you get to take their loot. Then you go to something called exfil, and you essentially set off a beacon. You wait there, and if no one comes and kills you, then you get to leave and you get to take that loot with you for the next round of battle that you drop into. So that's the same thing we have here. Very classic extraction shooter, complete with not hero characters that allow you to do different things. Do you have anything you want to say so far? Sorry, I'm talking a lot.
So far, not necessarily. I will say that the game itself looks awesome.
Okay.
As an extraction shooter too, I'm not a really big fan of extraction shooters.
Okay.
I'm not a big PvP fan in general.
Yeah. Gets a little sweaty sometimes.
Yes. However, there is something about Marathon with the look of it that just makes me have to try it.
Okay.
So, but yeah, it looks great so far. Are we giving general?
I mean, give your thoughts on what. Give your thoughts,
dude. The only thing, so this game is probably one of the best looking games I've ever laid my eyes on.
Okay.
I find it the color palette.
Okay.
The way that like there's like windows that you can like break or whatnot, and then like on the side of like the window pane itself, it has like words that say like safe or like destructible, and for some reason it just looks beautiful.
Yeah.
The water looks great. Like everything about this game looks amazing.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. The design of it, definitely, there's people on kind of on both sides of the aisle. Some people are like, oh, it looks like Destiny just fucked Roblox, you know.
I never thought about that.
However, you know, I do agree. It's a very interesting color palette. I don't mind. It feels very like cyberpunk to me in a way.
Yeah.
Like that cyberpunk kind of aesthetic with the bright colors, the neons. I agree. I mean, the biomes and everything look really interesting. It definitely has that signature kind of Bungie flair. The one thing, well, actually, no, this is a positive. I was going to say, I mean, the gunplay and the actual gameplay they showed off from just a pure shooting aspect looks solid.
Yes.
I think that's one thing Bungie's always done really well when it comes to Halo, Destiny 2, even their PvP. The gameplay and the actual gunplay itself is spot on and looks smooth and looks really fun. My thing is the extraction shooter genre is there's a lot of competition, right? You think when people think extraction shooter, they're thinking Tarkov.
Yeah.
You know, first thing right off the rip. There's the Hunt.
Oh, the Hunt Showdown?
The Hunt Showdown. There's a lot of different types of games. Is that an extraction shooter? There's a lot of different types of extraction shooters that I think have people's attention. And from what I saw, I'm just wondering if this will be enough to pull people away from those games to jump into a game like this.
Yes.
Destiny's fan base, I think they're banking really hard on their hardcore fans to kind of leap over from Destiny to play this, but I don't know if this is the game they wanted. You know, they want that expansive. They want looters. They want to loot. Mm-hmm. They want to shoot. They want story, which this game is apparently promising. And we'll come back to that in a minute. But all PvP, I think, is a little tough.
Yeah.
You know, for some people, I enjoy PvP myself, but I can't play it that much. I can't do it that much because when I like to play when I play games, I like to not be that stressed out unless I'm doing like an Elden Ring type game. But PvP and extraction, especially, you're always kind of on edge, looking around for the next person that's gonna wipe you. One thing I think that's kind of causing a little bit of a stir is the lack of a solo queue, which I found kind of interesting. So
I thought they said there was a solo queue.
So not necessarily. There's teams of 3 or triples.
Yeah.
You can queue in without filling in your team. So you would queue in as a single player playing against teams of 3 and the AI. So they mentioned that that's not really the way the game's meant to be played, but you can play it that way to create a harder, more difficult, like killer experience. But they mentioned it's going to be significantly harder, especially because of the revive system in the game.
Yeah.
You get downed. I believe you can still just get wiped. However, there's no instant death like there would be in a Tarkov type game.
Right.
So if you're going in there solo, it may be a quick experience for you. I also have seen from a lot of the early reviews and playtests and alpha stuff, and from the people that went to the most recent event, the AI is actually pretty difficult to battle.
Yes.
I heard that is almost like a detriment to the game in some ways because you're busy fighting the AI to the point where it's almost like you skirmish more with them than you do with other players. So I think it's going to be interesting to see what Bungie can do in the genre. I think the gameplay itself looks solid. Right here, there's 4 different classes involved. We have Locust, Blackbird, Glitch, and Void. Locust is more of that tactical search and destroy character with a barricade ability. You have Blackbird that has a tracking drone and something called an Echo Pulse. You have Glitch, which has something called an Amplify and a Disruptor. I'm assuming someone that can like debuff and buff your allies. And then you have Void, which has smoke screens and invisibility, active camo. There's all sorts of loot that they said could change the game in the form of weapons and gear and upgrades for your character. So there's like that typical gray, green, blue, purple, gold kind of setup where you have different levels and rarities of drops. So I think Bungie will make cool loot and cool stuff to find. I think the lore will be cool, although it's going to be like Bungie, classic Bungie. You're going to be reading everything and watching YouTube videos.
For sure.
They did mention, though, that there will be a story. However, that they have a framework for it, but not like a story written yet. And so I was like, okay, they said they're going to have that kind of doled out closer to launch. So my concern, I think my biggest concern here is that maybe they're rushing out like a minimum viable product. Remember when, I don't know if you remember when Destiny 1 came out, it had a lot of complaints. It was very popular, but then it had a lot of complaints of like, there's a lot of this game missing.
Yes.
The story's kind of all over the place. The game feels great to play, but the other than that, the game's whack, And it was really the community's feedback and the community playing it and essentially beta testing it for its first couple of years for Bungie to really nail down Destiny. My concern is that they're kind of doing another minimum viable product to get it out so that Sony stops breathing down their neck and they can start making some money for them.
Yeah.
And that it's really going to be, oh, hey, guys, help us create the future of Marathon. Help us make the game better, when it should just come out good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I remember when Destiny, a lot of people said that Destiny was finally complete when The Taken King finally came out.
Seriously, yeah. And that was it was like 2 years into the game?
Yeah.
Almost? Something like that?
Yeah, because those 2 expansions
came out
like a year after it did. And then The Taken King came out and then like blew everybody away and then finally
and then they redid everything in Destiny 2. And then Destiny 2 had their own, come to Jesus moment where they revamped the whole game, and that was Forsaken.
Yeah, pretty much.
So Bungie, pretty much. I'm a little head shy as a Bungie player for many years because I see the writing on the wall similar to how I did in Destiny, and I don't know if they will get the same grace with Marathon that they got with Destiny. There's always going to be those hardcore Bungie fans. However, I think they're going to have a harder time keeping people around if the game isn't really that good coming out of the starting line.
Oh, I agree.
There's so much competition. Games are so expensive nowadays. I don't want to predict. This is the Nick prediction. Well, this is the hopeful, not Nick prediction. I'm worried that this could be a potential Concord situation.
I was just going to say a lot of people have been like basically kind of making like comparisons to this and Concord and hoping that this doesn't happen, but man, I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's that bad. I think it's a weird comparison, but I can see
if it's not great coming out of the gate, or if there's not something that just keeps people coming back, I think it runs the risk of just kind of petering off.
I agree.
So that's where I can kind of compare it to Concord. I don't think it'll have that just like complete, like no one accepts it, it gets erased kind of situation. But I could, knock on wood, hopefully this doesn't happen, them come out of the gate, people think it's like a meh out of meh, and then it just kind of fades into the background and just dies,
Yeah.
So,
for sure.
Looters do this all the time, but one point of contention with this is that you're not even going to keep the loot that you get in the game. It resets every season. That a lot of shooters do that, so that's not like a new exclusive thing for Bungie. But again, you're bringing you want people from Destiny to play this game. Destiny people are notorious hoarders. They have vaults full of gear and full of loot, and anytime you take that loot away or change it or nerf it, people go wild. So I think the people who are used to that kind of game may be able to get their head around that, but the people who like Bungie and like Destiny 2 are going to instantly be turned off by that right off the bat.
Yeah, most definitely.
I painted a little bit of a sour picture. I'm definitely excited to see what they can bring. The game has style. The game has great gameplay. The story seems a little pretentious. It's got the whole artsy, what is life? What is your soul?
What is the tagline? It's like become your own god.
Become
or
a
something?
god or become. Yeah,
I thought that was pretty dope.
Yeah, so they definitely, Bungie has great presentation. They released a story trailer that was really interesting that showcased all of the interesting art. I think it was actually made by the people who made Love, Death, and Robots, that animated show.
Oh, okay.
I believe they partnered with them for that real artsy kind of animated thing that they did.
That 8-minute short or whatnot?
I think it was the short that they did.
Mm-hmm. That looked awesome.
Then there was the just like a quick like gameplay overview where they had this like guy just talking about in the world of Marathon, there's all sorts of challenges, and you first you press this button and then you drop onto the planet and then you walk, and they had the classic like Bungie's like the one guy like hits a sniper shot from like 100 yards away and flips to one thing and kills someone else, and I'm like, that's never gonna happen in the game. That's never gonna happen that way. You're just gonna get rocked. So they just have a way of making the game look incredible, and it does look very good. I'm just a little, based on my history with Destiny, I'm hearing a lot of the same things that I heard when Destiny first was coming out, and whenever there's new content, we're gonna have a great seasonal story that evolves week to week and evolves, every season, and I'm like, oh god. So I'm definitely interested. Extraction shooters are not like my cup of tea. Like, I don't like to live in those worlds, but it could be something where it's a fun little break, especially if you want something that has that difficult, challenging PvE and then a little sprinkling of that PvP experience in there as well.
Yeah, man, it looks awesome. One thing that I noticed about Marathon, and I'm sure you know this already, but you know how Marathon is or for the kids at home that don't know this, essentially Marathon came out, the first Marathon by Bungie came
90s,
out in the 90s. Yeah. I remember when I was at in grade school in the downstairs in the library playing Marathon on a Mac.
That's awesome.
And I thought that was really cool. They took a little bit of inspiration from that game, but they totally revamped it like hardcore, man, because it did not look anything like this.
It doesn't look anything like that. The original Marathon really resembles like Halo, what they would do later with Halo. I feel like they even use a lot of the same terminology. The same world is mentioned, Tau Ceti 4. That's the world that you essentially drop into to do the 25-minute extractions to kind of find the secrets and the materials and weapons and gear from like Lost Civilization. So it still has that overall kind of Bungie-esque story from Marathon, or it's more like the world of Marathon, but it's not like Marathon itself.
Yeah, like the style or the look of it, it's completely different.
I think Marathon or the Marathon, whatever that is, or in this world, I think is going to be featured in one of the maps. I believe there's 3 maps that you're going to be able to do in this game.
Yeah.
That feature different biomes. Then there's going to come out. More maps will come out. So it's going to be interesting. I'm very curious about this. I mean, they've been talking about this game forever. A couple years back, they ended up firing their game director because he was a freaking pervert or something.
Oh.
And or you
Uh-oh.
found out later that it was because he was like a creeper or some craziness like that. And they got a different game developer or kind of lead developer in there to kind of work, or game director, I should say, to work on it. That kind of streamlined it into this not hero shooter that it kind of is.
Mm-hmm.
So what I'm saying is definitely interesting. I'm just cautiously optimistic.
Yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat too. I really want to love this game.
Yeah.
And just the fact of how it looks makes me like extremely interested.
Yeah.
And what they showed, like hell, I was watching Skill Up's little preview.
That's a really good review. Was it that 30-minute preview that he did?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I was like, man, like this looks like a game I would definitely play.
Yeah.
But once again, man, it's the game mode. It's the Tarkov like extraction.
Yeah.
That really stresses me out because it's like
It's a lot going on. And then it's like you're sitting, you're hoping that no one you play and you grind, and then to just get rocked in the last second of the game.
mm-hmm.
Excuse me, and have someone just make off with your hard-earned loot is always just so disheartening, but it's also a reason to get back in there.
Right. And that's the thing is it's like a risk reward type thing, right?
100%.
That's kind of how I felt with like the Division 2 when you would go into the dark zone. And
they did an extraction game mode too.
I think so.
It was that when it was like snowing out.
Yes,
it was some kind of survival game mode. I can't remember what it was called.
It was something. It was like when they did that expansion, like the New York expansion or something like that.
Yeah, that was pretty fun. But anyway, sorry.
Yeah, I didn't really like that part of the game because you grind for all of this equipment and then you die once and then someone just took all that shit from you.
Yep.
You're screwed, dude. You gotta go and get it again. And that kind of stuff intimidates me. But man, now this just brings me back to my good old question about Destiny,
What about it?
dude. Why did they? Where's the multiplayer?
Yeah.
Like,
and it's kind of odd. It's like a lot of people liked PvP in Destiny, and they've pretty much abandoned that, and that they've pretty much gone on to do this marathon stuff.
Exactly.
And I know Bungie needs to branch out. I know this is probably a pretty big deal for them and Sony. This is like going to be their next big game that's going to be, first look on Sony. It's going to be available on all the consoles, but Sony's now starting the marketing for it pretty heavily for them.
Yeah.
So Bungie's got a lot riding on this. Sometimes I'm still just like, why don't you just make Destiny 3?
I agree.
Like, not to they're going to be like, dude, of course you like Destiny. But dude, a full-on sequel, better, in Unreal or a better graphical engine with a large amount of content in like an open world setting. I mean, you're going to get zillions of people to play that game.
Oh, yeah.
This game, you're going to get people to play it, but it might end up being a little bit of a niche kind of situation.
I don't think it's going to be as big as Destiny, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't think it will. But who knows, man? Crazy things happen.
That's true. It may catch fire. The gameplay could be enough to kind of get people just in there constantly playing it. And there could be some pretty solid changes by then, especially with some of the feedback they get from this closed alpha.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we'll see kind of what comes out of that.
I kind of have a feeling it's either going to go three ways. It's going to have a high, it's going to have a middle, and it's going to have an end. It's either going to be one of the greatest extraction shooters of all time, and Bungie made it, and their gameplay is going to be awesome, or it's going to be like, all right, this is just going to be held up by the Destiny community.
Yeah.
And then, or it's just going to be like a Concord situation.
Yeah.
But
because that's the thing, like if you cannibalize your Destiny 2 players, and Destiny dies, like that's not good.
Nope.
But what if people are like, fuck this, we're just gonna go play Destiny 2? You know what I'm saying?
There you go.
Then you lose your audience for Marathon potentially. So
yeah,
they're gonna be really heavily relying, I think, on getting extraction shooter fans in and just the casual interested audience. But that's where I'm like, are they going to be able to keep those people who are a fan of extraction shooters in here? Or are they going to say, hey, this is cool, but I do this in Tarkov and that game's better, so I'm just going to go play that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's going to be a big test for Bungie. It's going to be interesting now that they're making new content for Destiny 2 and they're doing marathon stuff to kind of see what they're able to do and if they're really able to keep up on both at a high level. Mm-hmm. But I'm excited, so we'll see what happens.
I'm really hoping that they do like a PlayStation Plus like type of like beta, so that they can try it. We can try it.
Like,
because
are you talking like a like what they're doing with the alpha essentially, or
Correct.
just like a quick like gameplay kind of demo or something.
Yeah, let me. Yeah, where it's like for a weekend, or
I see what you're
like
saying.
maybe for like a weekend or like a whole week,
Like a stress server test.
yeah, like a
or-
stress test or
yeah,
something,
stress
where
test for
they
the server.
could possibly, just be like, all right, since Sony is, in bed with Destiny and
Yeah.
Bungie and stuff, and with now Marathon, why don't we just take our PlayStation Plus people and go, okay, you guys can have a full week and just like test the beta. See, that would be really neat for me, because that way I can finally judge it.
Actually play it on the console you're probably gonna play it on.
Yes, exactly.
Hey, if you want a fun extraction shooter that's all PvE, you should get Helldivers.
Dude, I
Dude,
want Helldivers.
Helldivers is really fun, and I would actually play that game with you.
Yeah, it looks great.
It's super fun, and it's an extraction shooter, but it's all PvE, and you got like 10 difficulties you can play it on. So
Right.
hell yeah, super fun. So get out there and play Helldivers.
Yes, get out there now. Go out there right now, play Helldivers immediately.
No, so I think that's all the news I got for today. I think that's what people need to know about Marathon. There's lots of videos out there, lots of information. There's been no official release date for the closed alpha, so just be on the lookout for that. I believe you can sign up on Bungie's website for Marathon to be a part of that experience. Might be good to at least give it a shot. Maybe they'll surprise us PlayStation people with a fun weekend demo. We'll see.
That'd be awesome.
But that's all I have for today. Hope you guys have a great week. We will see you next week for episode 9 of Game On and Beyond. If you're here, give us a thumbs up. Give us a little comment. Tell us how we're doing. And maybe subscribe. All that stuff's free. So
Hit this up.
do it up. Do all the things. Thumbs up. Do the typey. Do the subscribe-y. Right?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. I covered it all. Anyway, that's it for today's show. You guys have a great day. This has been Game On and Beyond.